and gentlemen, welcome to the Activity Call Live. Now, let's hear it for our special guest host, Andy Riddle.
Good morning, Alliance family. This is Angela and Andy Riddle. We are honored to be hosting the Activity Call. Thank you, Jane and Andy Albright, for the honor, and we will not disappoint. Go ahead, Riddle.
Well, we just got off a few days at the cabin. We did Christmas at the cabin. I guess the 8 of us were some of the people there, and it was a great week. And it's those small events. I mean, I know we have NatCon coming up, and we're super excited about that. But if you get a chance to go to the cabin and be one of the group of like the 20, 25 people that attend that, and just get to hang out for 3 or 4 days, have fun, do a lot of training, different things, I would highly recommend getting there if you can. I know Andy's announced 6 cabin trips in March coming up next year. So if you're looking out for those, I know there's one with the Adam Katz team. My team's doing one. And then there's another one with Osuna, Bel Air, Danny Johnson, Marcus Richardson, and some of the ABTF base shop are going to be at the cabin. And then he has 2 other events that are kind of open up for some of you guys. So if you have the opportunity to get invited or get into those, definitely do so. Get with your growing up line and ask them to do it. We just we had a great 4 days there. We did some paintballing, we did some teaching, Terry got a deer. Terry found a deer. He just saw a deer walking through the woods, so he got to see a deer. Some fishing, all that kind of stuff. Got to play with the baby goats and everything. So it's definitely worth doing, and just what you get from coming out of those. We're super excited about the stuff that we learned and the things we get to do from here. So definitely look out for those if that's something you want to do. But I do think it's a great spot for leadership and the things that we do.
So today we're going to go over building a business without damaging the relationship. So we have some of our best friends on the call with us, future partners with the Alliance, and we're going to be talking about building together. And the first point we're going to go over is, what are you ultimately building for long term, and how does this business support that? So what are you actually building this for? And if you're not clear on the destination, then everything else feels like a conflict. So you guys do not have a clear vision and are together on that vision, then everything else will just be conflict. Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, kind of what we look at when we're building our leadership team and the things that we're doing in a business. We're not here to manage personalities and slow down to keep everyone comfortable. We're trying to help people grow and move forward towards their goals. It's not about money. It's more about freedom, leverage, a business that keeps moving forward. And we don't always agree. So it's the things that the momentum doesn't stop, even if things aren't there in the alignment. So as we get moving, I want these guys to be kind of speak directly today, not let their emotions hijack their decisions. I know that's one of the things that a lot of people get caught up on. We're no different from it, but learning as leaders as we move forward, how to not let that happen and keep moving forward, even to move forward through those emotions. And then there's tension between us, and understanding that don't let it sit there and fester, just to deal with it and move forward in things that we do. So having those tough conversations instead of letting it drag out, and avoid issues and business reactions from that. So we kind of work together in the stuff that we do. We have great relationships in between us. We do disagree, but we have loyalties with each other, and we encourage each other to continue to grow. But at the end of this, I want to have a business that we're proud of, with a group of people that still trust each other, because we don't lie, we don't stall, and we don't play small. We show up in what we do. And so I'm going to go through with some of the questions for these guys, these couples here, and really just want them to be laid out there for you, just flat out what it is. And I got a bunch of questions for them, and we have 55 minutes left, so we're gonna try to fly through this quick and get through these things. But I guess we'll start off with you guys, Sebastian and LaQuinta, kind of just going into the same thing, like what you guys are looking to build ultimately long term with this business to support that. So kind of the same question with you guys, just what you guys are looking to build inside of your team.
Hey, Sebastian LaQuinta Chambers. We're billionaires. We have mansions and yachts out of here in Lawton, America. Well, in Virginia today. I'm at Maryland. I've been all over the place, Andy. We all over the world. But what we're looking to build is just really just change our legacy. We didn't come from wealth. And one of the things that we want to do is everybody, like from me down, never have to deal with hearing no because of finances. No shouldn't be something that we tell our family because it's like, well, we didn't have it as a kid, and and for us to have stuff like, it should only be no if it's going to cause hurt, harm, or danger. If it ain't going to cause that, it should be yes and amen. And so that's something that we like to be able to do to make sure our family have what they need and some of the stuff that they want.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to agree with Sebastian. We both were brought up with strong values in our homes. Our parents really instilled in us excellence and respect and all that. We just want to transpose that outward. We want to be able to give more and to be able to provide things for other people, not just ourselves. So if we see a need that we can fill, we want to be able to do that. So by us building this legacy, it gives us the opportunity to do that, to help more people, more families, more situations. Wherever we go, we can just be that help.
Awesome. Josh and Alexis, how do you guys feel about that?
Well, my name is Joshua.
And I'm Alexis.
And we're the Parkers. Riddle, thank you so much for allowing us to be here on this call today. And one thing we want to do is we want to build a legacy for our children. We want to be the first millionaires and our multimillionaires in our family. And we really just want to give our children a leg up in this competition of life. So that's one reason we're building this and seeing this vision through.
Yes, and I will also say that every time I'm talking to an agent, I'm really stressing that we really just want to be the bridge between them and their goals. So whatever they may be, we really want to be that bridge and creating a family atmosphere where everyone feels welcomed, loved on, supported is really what we're looking to do while we're building with our partners here.
Great. Awesome. Terry and Tia.
Good morning, y'all. Thank you so much, Andy and Angela, for having us on this call, and to the Albrights, who are an amazing couple. Thank you so much for always setting the example on how to be leaders in this business and also how to raise a family while being a part of this family business. So for me, I want to say it's about setting the example for of course, our kids, but not just our kids, but also our agents that's watching us every single day on how we're out here building the business. When we're having the ups and downs in the business, how are we carrying ourselves as individuals? So I think it's that setting, being the example for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And, when I look at this platform that we call the Alliance, I look at it as it is my gift that allows me to touch more people that I normally would never even come in contact with. And it's not just people on our team, it's people in our uplines, people cross line, people down, just everybody in general. I do believe that God put me on this earth to make a difference, to be his hands and to be his feet. And this opportunity allows us to do that, not just from a financial standpoint, but also to give people hope that tomorrow can be better than today, that this is an opportunity where it doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what level of education you have attained. It doesn't matter what your past looked like. But if you can believe that tomorrow can be better, we have an opportunity that you can plug into at whatever level that is. There are no big dreams. There are no dreams too big. There are no dreams too small. So we just see this as an opportunity to help everybody that we come in contact with, whether that be offering them an opportunity or they being the benefactor of the opportunity. Because the money that we make, we look at it not just for our family, but how can we help fund the charities and the organizations that we believe in? It's crazy. Like tonight, we're going to a gala here in Winston-Salem to help raise money for Smart Start and Forsyth County. And you know what? Hope is good, but Smart Start needs some dollars and cents, baby. So that's what we see this opportunity as. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of it.
You know, Terry, like kind of what you're saying is if it's not clear on the destination of what you're trying to build for, everything feels like conflict. Like everything you come in place with is conflict. So I want to we'll kind of go in the same order that we just went in, but we'll kind of knock off these questions. But it's like when a decision is made and you don't fully agree with it, what helps you still trust the intent that the decision was made in? So thinking about that, Sebastian LaQuinta, I'm going to go to you guys first every time. So the pressure's on you guys. The other guys get to think. But the good news is that you get to steal all their answers. So, they have to come up with like creative stuff. So
that's true.
Yeah.
I feel that.
I forgot you guys were in Maryland. I was like, you guys got a beautiful tree, but it's someone else's tree. So
Yeah, we're at my brother's house. So they did a good job.
Yeah, that's the decorator.
Uh-oh.
That's my sister-in-law. You did wonderful.
Yeah.
So when the decision is made that you don't fully agree with, what helps you still trust the intent of the decision? Talk about that.
You go first? Okay. Well, I can tell you, like for me, so it's like this. I used to tell this to Terry all the time, and y'all just don't know how thankful I am for all of y'all. It's like all the way to Andy Albright. All of y'all, this is what I witnessed, and especially being at the cabin this weekend with all of my, like from y'all up to Andy, my whole lineage of leaders is there, right? Hearing y'all talk and say the same things. We were following Andy to the museum. So we were right behind
Yes.
And Andy took a detour. We kept the detour. Even though GPS said go this way, we kept following Andy. Next thing you know, we at his house. We turned around and I didn't care where he was going. We were going to follow.
Following him.
And so I tell Terry all the time, I say, Terry, if you tell me to jump off the building, I'm going to fall backwards off the building because I'm going to land in a net full of money and people that love us. It's like everything. It's like every area where we've tested the leadership, where we've tested the intent of staff at corporate, it has always led to our good. So if they say, "Hey, jump on! I want you on at 30 minutes before the Zoom. We want to do this." Okay, fine. I'm there. You don't have just tell me one time. I'm there. So we know that every time that we've had an experience, it has always led to our good. And it's always led to the good of our people because we have people that are following us. And if they see how much we trust, then we get to deposit that into them because that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Yeah, for me, Sebastian started this journey before I was fully vested. I was very supportive in the beginning, but for me to follow his lead after I was able to retire from my job early, I just had to do it because I knew that Terry and Tia had already set the stage and we had already went and visited them, talked with them. They already showed us the path that we should take. And so when Sebastian was given direction, I was able to, kind of reluctantly at first, not fully just jump all in, but remember what we've already learned and remember the trust that I had in him to guide us in the way that we should go. So
it's okay.
In the beginning, it was a little struggle, but you just have to trust the process. You know that what we have it's working because of the people that's already, where we want to be. So you just have to constantly remind yourself of what you know.
Great. Josh and Alexis, you guys up?
Okay, definitely. We trusting the intent of our leaders. For one, they've already been where we're going or where we're trying to head to. It's kind of like, Andy Albright, he has this vision and he ironed out all the wrinkles in it. And there's so many things he's already stumbled over and found a way over it. And then he taught that same vision to Andy Riddle, to Jason Mathis, now to Tia and Terry Edwards, and they're teaching us. I believe it's kind of like Terry goes in the backyard and sees a snake, and he sees me about to walk outside to the backyard. He's like, Josh, don't go there. There's a snake back there, right? So I believe trusting their intent, because they just already seen the playing field and they've already seen and they kind of had to fight out the battle so that we don't have to. And if we trust their intent and we trust the process, then in the end, we will get to those same levels that we're trying to get to.
Yeah, and I think it's also the shared vision. Like Josh said, Albright already said it, and now we're just sharing it with each and every one of us. If you can't see the vision and you can't follow, then it's really a mindset thing, because it's sitting right there in front of us. Everyone's saying the same thing, seeing the same thing, we're doing the same thing. So when they tell us to do something, the intent, we already know it's not a bad intent, because we're all sharing the same vision. I know that what they're telling me is true because they've been battle tested. It's right there in front of my face.
Great. All right, Arian, to you.
Yeah. So for me, I would say, I'm going to put it like, we don't always, I've seen in the past where I can speak personally. I haven't always understood the path that our leaders are going in. But at the end of the day, when you see their results, when you see, I'm not all materialistic, okay? But when you see the things that they have, the houses that they live in, the businesses that they have, how massive their business is, how crazy are we, or am I, not to get into an alignment with them and just follow and just trust the process. And by doing that, we know at the end of the day, something great is going to be at the end. So just like keeping our mind focused on that end result, even though we may not understand all the time what's going on, why are we changing this, why are we doing that, keeping the end in mind. Do I want to hit partnership? Do I want to go partner? Okay, let me get in alignment with Riddle and Mathis and Albright, what they doing, and just follow and just trust the leader. That's what I was.
Yeah. And for me, and like you said, Riddle, I think we're all human, and we all go through our different phases. It doesn't matter what level in the business that you're in, because for every victory is another valley. And so it's like, that's humbling and all by itself. But as far as like trying to make sure that I focus on the intent, me personally, I acknowledge my emotion. Man, that feels horrible. What just happened? I don't like it. So I acknowledge it, but I try to focus on the message and not the messenger. What do I mean by that? See, when I focus on the actual message, that's being objective, which means like it's focused on facts, it's data, it's the things that can be verified by anybody. It's indisputable, right? But if I focus on the messenger, now I'm being subjective. I don't like what he said. It ain't about what he said. I don't like him. I don't like her, right? So it becomes subjective, where it's about personal feelings. It's about my opinion. It's about my interpretation, right? And there's when hanging out, you hear people say it this way, like, would you rather be right or would you rather be rich? If you want to be right, you can be right and stay in the same position for 2026 that you was in 2025, 2015, 2005, 1995, 1985. You know what I'm saying? Or you can say, you know what? What he said or what she said, what does the data say? Do they have fruit on the tree? How they been there, done that? So that's what I try to focus on, Riddle. I try to get the message, irregardless of the messenger.
Yeah, and assuming bad intentions is the fastest way to kill momentum. And I mean, I think Josh said it, but it's the track record and following the path of what Andy does. I mean, so many times Andy's told me to do something and I've done something else, and he's like, "See, I told you." And it's kind of like turns into like, in my mind, it's like he can predict the future. And if he can predict the future, I always just use it as like my genie in a bottle. Like, he can tell me where to go and tell me what things to do and where to go with that. So it's like you can say, well, he just tells you, "I told you so." And I was like, well, I told you so many times. I'm just gonna start doing it the other way. And if you guys don't know how this thing's like set up, it's like if he tells you with stuff that's bad, it hurts him, and he's not real big in hurting himself. So, you know, the way the whole thing's set up is not to hurt himself and to be successful with what he does, and hurting us is definitely not the pathway that he wants to go. So,
hey, Riddle, and if I don't mind. So like, and it goes back to like one of the conversations that we were having at the cabin. Like when we was talking about the difference between high self-image and low self-image, right? People with high self-image are hard to offend. People with low self-image get easily offended by everything. So it's like, now I'm always thinking, am I operating in, well, since that conversation, my filter now is, am I operating in a high self-image capacity, or am I operating in a low self-image capacity? Because I want to stay in a high self-image capacity.
That's great.
Next question is, where have you seen momentum stall because people waited for full agreement? Bastian, LaQuinta, what do you think?
I can talk for myself and I can talk for agents, but it's better to talk about yourself so the people don't get offended. Right there. But when I first came to this business,
Your question, don't pull me into your.
But I know for me, it's like when I first came to the business, you know, and listen, guy, any of y'all out there that have other businesses that you're coming from and you've had all this success, we know you're successful. It's okay. You don't have to prove to anybody you're successful with your stuff. Come over here and learn this stuff, because this stuff works a certain kind of way. Just like your stuff worked over there, there's a system over here. If you came from Burger King, you don't go to McDonald's trying to change out the sesame seeds on the Big Mac. It's 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, right? So if you go changing it to your bun have no seeds, yours is from McDowell's, not from McDonald's. That makes sense. So it's like you have to remember, if you want to grow fast, do what the fast growers do. You don't have to go create nothing over it. This thing works smooth. So it don't matter. It's no respect of persons. So that's what we had to figure out. Once we did that and LaQuinta came on board with us full time and we emulated what Terry and Tia did, smooth selling. It's been increased every year in our business, increase and help. And then not only that, the people that's following you, again, they like, okay, I can connect with this and it feels peaceful. And that's what we try to do. So we don't want to stall anybody, and we don't want to stall. And we've seen plenty of agents stall. They got on some momentum, got in their little feels, and now they don't feel nothing because their check says nothing. So,
well, since we have couples on the call, I've seen couples like husband and wives. You know, you have one, like the husband all in and then the spouse not. And then sometimes I've seen where that would hinder the spouse that's ready to go from going. You know, it's not that the spouse wasn't supportive, they just didn't know anything. So we've seen a few cases of, you know, they had touches of success, but because there wasn't the spouse, you're not kind of pushing them forward and encouraging them to keep going. They just kind of wait, you know, they're gone. They're no longer with us. So if you're a couple out there building together and one couple sees it and one doesn't, the couple that sees it, the couple that doesn't see it, just encourage the other one that does, because in the end, you're eventually going to see it, because I was that couple. I was supporting, but I mean, that spouse, I should say. I was supporting Sebastian, but I was not hindering him from going forward. I was encouraging him, even though I didn't understand everything that was going on, being said. I wasn't in agreement with it, but eventually, here I am. I'm half of what we're building together. So, just couples. If one sees it and one doesn't, just support each other, and just trust and believe that the direction that you're going in is gonna pay big in the end.
Josh and Alex.
LaQuinta, I really wanted to touch on that because that was me. So I didn't start when Josh started either, you guys. I started well after he started. But amazing leaders, Terry and Tia, said, Alexis, you're going to have to figure out, are you in or are you out? Because I kept coming in and then like, nah, I ain't going to do it. And then I came back in, nah, I ain't going to do it. But they said, like, Alexis, you're going to have to figure out, are you going to be in or are you going to be out? And that was truly helpful with good intentions, right? The trusting the process of knowing that they were telling me that for a very good reason. LaQuinta touched on it, because if I'm not fully in, I'm not fully understanding what's going on, right? And sometimes we try to coach our spouses, but we have no idea what's going on, and we have to be fully in to fully understand it. So I'm glad you said that. But this question is actually really funny to me, because right now I'm teaching my little kiddos at Children's Church about Mary and Joseph. And what I'm teaching them is that Joseph had a plan for his life already set out. Like, he had it, right? He thought he had it already planned out. He was going to marry Joseph, marry Mary and have children. But God had other plans for him. And when the angel came and spoke to him, the very first thing that he did was follow what the angel told him to do. He didn't second guess it. He didn't say, well, maybe let me pray a little more. He went and followed what the angel told him to do, because God had good intentions behind it, right? So the stall that I see sometimes is that we believe we have a plan already in place. We believe it should be a perfect time into things, right? But it's not always going to be that way. What we believe is the way that we should go is not always that case. So sometimes we're waiting for the perfect moment, or we're waiting for that picture of what we had our plan going to happen in order for us to move and to create that momentum, but it doesn't necessarily work like that. And as leaders, with the tried, true, and tested, we know that we're going to have people who feel like they're supposed to be going in a certain direction, but we have to intentionally tell them that if you wait for the perfect moment, it's never going to come. It's not a perfect moment. You have to jump out there and keep going no matter what. It's never going to be a perfect moment. But I thought that was funny, because I'm literally teaching my kiddos that. So it starts young, and then you keep on building onto that momentum.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And I mean, even Albright, he mentions about how on his watch there's two hands. You got the little hand that says now, and the big hand that says right now. So keeping momentum going, understanding what is important, and how to keep that going, and not stalling to stopping your progression.
Right.
Where have we seen momentum stall? We've been doing it going on 11 years now. And so just speaking as far as business wise, I think sometimes it's where either the vision isn't clear, or we allow our emotions to get in the way that we don't even hear what one another are really saying. So I think sometimes we have to slow down to hear what both sides are saying, and then come back together and say, hey, this is what the Green Book says. This is what the 8 Steps to Success says. This is what our leaders, our uplines are teaching and preaching to us. So put the emotions to the side and let's get back to work. So sometimes it's not clear. The clarity is off.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I see momentum stall when you lose gratitude. We have to remind ourselves daily of why we chose this team. Why did we say yes to this opportunity? Because you can get when the vision is not clear or the vision is too small. Oh, when the vision is too small and you hit your little goal and you think your little goal is the biggest goal because that's the biggest goal in your family. Or you forget about, you know what? Yeah, I done hit that goal, but it's time to level up. It's time to put away the milk and start chewing on some dadgum meat. Yeah, you got stuff situated for you, but how many people on your team can say the same thing? You know what I'm saying? So it's like when we lose gratitude and we forget that our lifeline is not our downline, our lifeline is our upline. Or I heard it said this way: what if we only woke up tomorrow what we were grateful for today? See, if I'm grateful for you, Riddle, it doesn't matter if we have a disagreement, because at the end of the day, I'm still grateful for you. Now, when I become ungrateful for you, and it's crazy, this book right here helped me a lot with offense. It's called The Bait of Satan by John Bevere. Like, when you are not grateful for people, Satan can use that perceived hurt, that perceived feeling of betrayal to enslave us to our current situation. It blinds us to bigger and it blinds us from the forest and keep us focused on the dadgum tree. Mm-hmm. So it's like, when you are grateful for someone, you find it easy to forgive them. You find it easy because, like, when we can't forgive one another, it empowers us to hold on to resentment. It empowers us to hold on to being bitter. And one thing I don't want to be, Riddle, I don't want to be bitter. I want to be better. You know what I'm saying? Bitter people are difficult to be around. Like, as soon as they start talking, all of their hurt is heard. Mm-hmm. It's not just felt, because you can feel bitter people, but when you hear them, it's even worse. Like, people that don't read, you can tell people who don't read, like, they say some of the stupidest stuff, right? How can I know? Because I was one of them people that said a lot of stupid stuff, right? I remember one time we were sitting at a Ruby Tuesday after a hot spot, and Albright had came, and we were sitting at the table eating. I was like, man, I can't wait till I can stop selling. I'm gonna build this thing so big. And he looked at me and he was like, I don't never want to hear you say that again. I was like, but I thought that was the goal. He was like, you love selling, you love recruiting, and you love building, right? And so it's like, I don't want to be bitter. I don't want to walk around angry. And at the end of the day, when we can't forgive people, it blocks our spiritual growth. Okay, what if you don't believe in God? Okay, here we go. When you can't forgive somebody, when you can't forgive your upline, when you can't forgive your downline, hell, when you can't forgive yourself, you are stunting your financial growth. So for me, that's what it's about. It is about learning how to stay in a mode of gratitude. I am grateful for this struggle. Yeah. In all things, give thanks.
And Terry, the crazy thing is, like, perfect alignment's kind of a myth anyways. It's like we're never perfectly aligned, but forward motion is real. So, like, moving forward and moving in things is a real thing. So, cool. You want to?
Next question. How do you acknowledge emotions without letting them change the direction?
Boy, I can preach a sermon. I can preach a sermon on this.
That is a mouthful.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now. So again, I'm just gonna use me. I'm not gonna try to use nobody but me. So I remember there was a time where we had an issue, and I ain't gonna call nobody name, but it was a person, and I was just in my feels, and I sat back and I thought to myself, I can let this shut off everything I got going, or I can just let this thing fester. Because like sometimes other men, when we come together, especially a lot of A types, we don't want nobody telling us what to do. We want everybody cheerleading for us a lot of times. And sometimes you need that one friend that cannot be your cheerleader and throw an egg at you and say, boo. You know what I mean? And if you let your emotions to the side, we can keep growing. You know what I'm saying? We can keep growing. And so if we can just don't get like Albright said this the other day at the cabin. He said, keep it like this. He said, you don't want to be so excited you're ready to just, jump out of the plane with a parachute, and you don't want to be so low you want to yourself, right? You just want to keep it right here regardless of what's going on. And so that's what I'm focused on, is just, if I hear something, just follow. Terry said this to me. You remember this, Terry? You said, Sebastian, if you do everything I show you how to do and it don't work, you get to blame me. And I was like, man, I can't believe they said that. I said, you heard that, LaQuinta? I said, I'm finna go out here and try this. If it don't work, we're gonna blame Terry. And I went out there and we had some success. So in that moment, I could have said, now, Terry, I tried that in the past. I know what that's gonna do. Hey, little guy, I've got 10 years on you. Let me show you how it works. Yeah, I could have been like that. I just shut up. And I just said, let me try something I hadn't done. Let me try to follow somebody that's having success and instead of trying to show them about my potential success, right? Because we can think we're real smart. So just keep emotion out. Just do the do, baby. And it's going to work out.
Well, for me, how do I deal with emotions without letting it hinder the direction I'm going in? We interact with a lot of people when we hire agents. We interview them, we get to know them. When we meet them, we spend time with them. And, you think you're on the right track, and then one thing they do or say that's negative, it trips you up. It's like, it sometimes it catches you off guard. I thought we were on the right track. I thought we were good. I thought, what we were exchanging as far as communication, what you were receiving from me, I thought it was, the direction you wanted to go in. And you find out that it really wasn't. I've experienced that a couple times, and I'll be honest and say that it stifled me just a little bit, and I had just to stop and talk about it, because the emotions that I was feeling at that time were valid, but I didn't sit in it and let it fester and, I understand it. I didn't get mad. I didn't get angry. I just talked about it. I reached up to Terry and Tia. We talked about it. Helped me understand these things happen. But you just got to keep pressing, go on to the next person. So as agents, we have to realize that, yes, we meet people. Yes, they're going to say things about you. Yes, it's not always going to be positive. You just have to learn how to reach up. Don't reach to the side. Don't reach down. You got to reach up, because 9 times out of 10, they have experienced that too. So they have overcome it, so they can help you overcome it too. So just remember, just reach up.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, this is very important, man. I know it's probably even hard for a lot of people. I know at times it's hard for myself to be able to separate the emotions from the directions you're trying to go, to. But it is very pivotal. But I believe that when you have a vision for yourself, you will be able to separate those emotions. And I believe firmly that you are responsible for your success, and no one is the cause for your failure. Mm-hmm. So in that, you have to stay, like Sebastian said, very level-headed, stay consistent. I think an example that comes to mind, I love sports, but when I look at like LeBron, very well talked about athlete, a lot of people talk negative about him, but it doesn't deter him from going to where he wants to go because he knows his identity. He knows the vision that he has for himself. And a lot of times people will may say things to you, and sometimes they may be trying to get you very excited. Sometimes they may be able to bring you down, but you have to know who you are. Even like Kobe Bryant. I was looking at a video the other night when he was in the finals, and the reporter was so hyped up trying to get him excited, saying, "Hey, look, you're up 2-0. Now how you feeling?" And Kobe kept that straight face. He said, well, I mean, why should I be excited? The job's not finished yet. So you're gonna have people that are gonna come to try to sometimes encourage you or sometimes discourage you, but if you know your vision and if you know where you want to go, you're gonna have to separate those emotions so that you can keep going in the direction that you're trying to go.
Yeah, that's good. And an example that I'll use for myself is we had an agent contact me, and they said, how do you keep going when life is throwing things at you? And my response to that was, I just keep going. I know that there's no one that's going to come in and save me and Josh. No one's going to come in and run our business for us, and it's not going to do it by itself. So I have to keep going regardless, because no one's going to be there to save you. And sometimes, like a good example is friends and family may come in. They're literally maybe leaning on you for a very good reason, especially in your mind. You may think it as well, right? But they're not going to be the ones to go pay your bills. They're not going to be the ones to come in and watch your kids. They're just not going to be there for you as you're thinking. So having that boundary and knowing what your vision is and where you're trying to take yourself and your business is really going to set you aside when emotions or people come in to distract you and deter you from your vision. So I really had to hone in on him that it's you have to set yourself apart from what's going on. You have to separate the two and set those boundaries.
All right, so I know that I have that good Tia, and then I got that bad Tia, and she's not nice at all.
No.
So honestly, we have to bring that third party in to help us think things through before that bad Tia really destroy, if we're talking about the business side, before that bad Tia really comes in and destroy something that can be so massive. So we pull in, it used to be Chris Hill, now we pull in Jeff Bright. Tara go to Andy Albright if he has to. Andy Riddle, like we call them, Jeff, the Mathis family, we call them so that we don't do something crazy that will destroy our business. That's what we have to do.
Yeah. So the dream has to be bigger than the emotion. Because at the end of the day, if the dream is bigger than the emotion, you will still keep going. But if the emotion outweighs the dream, now you got a reason to stop. You know what? I done made more money this year than I made in the last year and a half. I ain't got to listen to that fool. Or is it, you know what? The goal is partner. The goal is financial freedom. And this is the thing about freedom, guys. We have to make sure that we understand personally. It ain't about nobody on my team. It's about 100% about me. Do I understand the difference between being free and just having flexibility? Being free means that you can make decisions with no regard to time or money. Being flexible means I can make some decisions when I want to, and then in other situations, I still got to do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, it's like, how can there have been times in my career here that my feelings have been tremendously hurt. But one thing that we never stopped doing was selling, recruiting, and building, because our example was bigger than our feelings. Our our credibility within the organization was bigger than my feelings. Because if I make the wrong decision out of my feelings, there are so many people that can be hurt collaterally. And I don't want that on my hands. So it's like, it's easier for me. Yeah, I'm going to acknowledge the feeling, but then I'm going to get back into my logical brain and be like, okay, how can me drinking gas and hoping my upline gets sick? How is that even smart? Like, get out your feelings, idiot, and get back on the phone. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like how I talk to myself. And then it don't help to have Tia, because that bad side of Tia come out. I see that side all the time. And she'll be like, boy, bye, shut up. It ain't all that. It ain't that serious. It's not that serious.
Oh.
I think you do a pretty good job of being even-keeled, non-emotional, and you're great at reminding me to be less emotional, or reminding me that those don't matter. Let's just keep going. And you've learned that from Andy Albright, which is the prime example of, doesn't matter what you're going through, you keep going. Doesn't matter who died, doesn't matter if, you know, your business is in shambles right now, we keep going. And I think that's one of your best attributes, is just regardless of feelings, you don't let it affect you.
Well, feelings are real. I mean, everyone has them, and they're real things. And I look at them as it's great for data. It's great to, I mean, a lot of times you'll feel things that are true. Women have great intuition on feeling stuff, but you can't let the feelings drive the car.
Right.
You know, you have to drive the path and the mission that you're on. The feelings can help you give data, but it's making the decisions, the wise decisions from there. So I think it was Andy that told me this. It's like, think of every decision you've made off feelings and tell me which ones were good. And I was like, none. And so it's like, it's not that they're not real, and it's not that it doesn't lead you to things, but then you have to make strategic decisions, or driving the car, the decisions from those feelings, from that. So
Right. Next question. Where do people hold back because they're afraid of reactions? We skipped one. Okay.
No, go back.
Oh, five. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I skipped one. What does encouragement look like in real time before criticism shows up?
Oh, so I can tell y'all want to talk about real time? Here's something. If Albright's watching this call, he's going to be like, Sebastian, y'all did a good job. The heck was that guy walking behind you on that camera? And Tia's like, I can see her. I can see her right now. Sebastian, you know I love you. Yeah, Tia, I know. You can't control all your environments all the time. You just got to make do with what you got to do. Did you see us shifting over real subtly? Got everything out the way? So I tried to correct myself before it really comes, right? But encouragement in real time, we can't just clap all it, like this participation award society, right? These kids right now, they head so messed up, they don't really know when they winning. They don't. So sometimes, even though you want to encourage, you ever hear the crap sandwich? You say something really, really nice, put some crap in the middle, and you put something really, really nice on the end to try to make people still feel good about what happened. Like they walk away like, thank you, but I don't know what that was, but thank you. You know, that's kind of how the emotions do in it. So it's like sometimes the encouragement, if we do it the right way, we can give that criticism, and the criticism, we gotta try to not emasculate people, like make a man feel less than a man with correction, because it could be done in the right kind of way. But we got to be encouraging too.
So for me, working in the office with Sebastian, we have agents that come through, you know, on a regular basis, and Sebastian trains the agents. And I feel like I am the encourager. You know, once I onboard them, do all of the things that I got to do, in moments that they have successes in certain situations, you know, he praises them too. I acknowledge, I encourage them. I tell them they did a great job, high five, whatever. But if the steps weren't followed in a certain manner that the order was given, then they know that the corrective criticism is going to come from Sebastian. I don't know what that looks like. I'm just saying, hey girl, you did it, high five. And then Sebastian gonna be like, yep, you did a good job, but this is where we need to keep it right here. So there are moments when agents, will do something good, but not necessarily follow the system of how they got there for it to be good. And then you got to expect that corrective criticism to come in a good way.
Yeah, this is very important, man, especially to me because I'm one of those people that I just want to hear good stuff about me. Right? But one example I can think of, man, Terry, it's probably about a week ago, and he was saying, Josh, man, you guys, man, you could be so massive, it's so powerful, you're moving up the levels chart, but we also need to correct some of these holes that's in your business, right? And it helped me understand, okay, man, my leader understands I'm moving up and I'm doing well, but there's still some things that we also gotta fix. He didn't just come up and say, hey Josh, look, I'm just tell you right now, look, you're doing terrible in this area, right? Because he knows that I probably would have shut down that. I would have been on the phone, but I probably wouldn't have heard anything, right? But those things are very important to be able to encourage someone before you give them that constructive criticism for their own personal mindset. I think at the cabinet, Albright did a really great job. We were paintballing, had a lot of fun, and he gave an example. Hey, look, after this, I'm gonna let Tia Land know, man, this was a great job, blah blah blah. But then immediately he found things that we could do better to improve it. And I think that is really huge because you don't want to start people off with negative connotations right off the bat. Praise them and then let them know, okay, look, now you're doing well, but this is how we could do better.
Right. And the teacher in me, because I love to teach people, is always going to try to encourage somebody. I'm good for encouraging people. But earlier I said that I always tell every single last one of our agents, we're just the bridge between you and your goals. I can't truly be honest if I don't tell them what they should be doing better. The bridge is going to be broken a little bit. They're going to fall down. If I hold true to what I'm saying, that I'm just being that bridge between them and their goals, then I have to tell them where they can be doing a little bit better, where they can improve at. But if I'm only going to just encourage them, then something is going to be off. They're going to fall down somewhere. And I like to be true to who I say I am. So if I say I'm going to help you bridge that gap, I'm going to be building that bridge. And sometimes it does take some slamming some things down, slapping some thing across it. It requires a little work, right? But I'm always going to encourage them for sure because it is needed for the mental for sure. Everyone loves to be loved, right? So I have to love on them as well. But also like the shark in me really do want to tell them like this is what you really got to do right here. But that's because I told them I was going to help them. I got to be true to that. So I love to be that bridge, but you have to tell them, otherwise they won't grow. And then that's where that stallment comes.
And the encouraging side, I think this is what me and Terry tag team at a lot. And I know this is also an area where I have to improve at. Because I know that I am the one that I'm the cleaner upper. When Terry is having to coach the agents, I'm the one that will come behind Terry sometimes when he don't even know and call him and just check in on, girl, Terry, he mean all that from the heart. He love you just as much as I do. I'm that cleaner upper, but I think it also puts a lot of pressure on Terry. Where I know I need to grow up and say, sometimes I need to be the one that is doing more hands-on coaching. But that's the cleaner upper side of Tia when it comes to that encouraging side.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. The courage to be this light.
Yeah, that's real.
So, and so to me, encouragement don't mean that you're telling me what's right. One of the things that I tell Riddle all the time is, bro, don't let me be operating in a blind spot I don't know about. Like, to me, if only thing I hear is pom-poms and high fives and stuff like that, I know it ain't, life ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, especially if you're going after something big. John Maxwell said all the good stuff is uphill, right? So it's like, if you're only telling me what I'm doing good, I can't get any better.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you associate with people that continue to live at a higher vibe than you, that's encouragement. Some people see it as low self-image, where you get jealous of what other people have or what they're able to do. But to me, that's encouragement. I remember when we was getting started with this business, we was reinvesting heavily. You know what I'm saying? We was making good money, but when you're building, you putting a lot back in. And I had a BMW, a 750 Li, and the dadgum valve covers gasket needed fixing. It was like 3 or 4 things needed fixing. It was like $7,000 worth of repairs. I was like, why am I going to spend $7,000 on car repairs right now? So that BMW sit in my yard. And Josh, I went on Craigslist and I bought a Toyota Corolla. We called a Tink Tank. It was a 2000 Toyota Corolla. And it was owned by a teacher who lived around the corner. So I went and paid $1,200 cash for that car, still made my car payments on the BMW that I couldn't drive. And then when Tink Tink went down, matter of fact, Tink Tink didn't go down with me. Crazy part about it, you keep building the business, right? And then I had an agent. It was a couple. They would always show up to hot spots, and their car broke down. We was making a little more money, so I went out and I bought me a little Kia Optima. You know what I'm saying? I upgraded from a little Tink Tink to a Kia Optima. But what I did with that Tink Tink was I gave that car, I called that couple, come to the house. I gave them the title and the keys. I said, I see your faithfulness. Y'all take this car. And we gave it to them. Now, I knew with Tink Tink, you had to check the oil every 3 days because she would burn some oil, baby. Just a little oil tapping pan. That couple got the car, and that car didn't last 2 weeks for them because they didn't keep the oil check. What I'm trying to say, I hope I'm getting my point across, is we have to remain grateful, because when we're around other people that's living at a high level, we can start, if we operate in low self-image, we can start getting down on ourselves and thinking that it won't happen for us. Embrace that journey. Drive that Tink Tink. The inside of the door jam, when you close the door, the whole door will fall in on me. I wrote a lot of premium out that car. I used to drive up to Andy Albright's hangar in that car. Yeah, the inside of my car falling in, getting on a private jet, because I believe in the dream and I didn't get stuck on myself. So the encouragement ain't always pom-poms. It's not always data boys. Sometimes, I don't know about y'all, but I need somebody to get firm with me and let me know, look, if you don't straighten your mess up, the way you living is going to be the way you dying. Ooh. The way you live is going to be the way you dying.
Yeah, so correction always lands better when the person already feels supported. Sebastian talked about the cookie. It's one of the things I always say, Oreo cookie. It's like good, bad, good, and it lands that way. So we're not going to get through all 8 questions, but I let Angela pick her favorite one left. So if you guys want to go real quick from this one, rapid fire.
So the last one is, when tensions happen, what helps you recover quickly and move forward? So real quick.
Well, go ahead.
Well, for me, when tension happens, I realize it, I acknowledge it, and I just keep moving forward. It doesn't feel good at the moment, but the bigger picture is we're going forward and we're not going backwards.
No.
So it doesn't feel good at the time. It's kind of expected. It's one of those things that you know is going to come because it's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies. So when tension arises, acknowledge it. You're valid in the feeling, you're valid in the moment, but just keep pressing forward and keep your goal in front of you.
Phone a friend. I called Terry. He helped me.
Parker's?
I was gonna say exactly kind of what LaQuinta said. Acknowledge it, ignore it, and move on. Because at the end of the day, we have a vision, we have a goal, and tension is only gonna stop us. So we have to acknowledge that tension, then ignore the tension, and then move on in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree with everyone. You have to acknowledge it, and then you have to ignore it, and then you have to move on. Jeff Bright told me something at the cabin. Everything does not have to be acknowledged. And that stuck with me because everything does not. Sometimes you need to move on past the situation because otherwise I'm going to stall myself in what's going on.
Great.
All right, clear it up. Get a mediator to help you clear it up so everybody can move forward in the right direction.
Acknowledge it, own my part in it, and move on. Ronald Reagan said it this way. He said, peace is not the absence of conflict. It's the ability to handle conflict peacefully.
Right.
What Andy's always told me is when we've had tension between us, it's usually my ego stepping up. And he told me what ego stood for, and it was edging God out. So every time I think of my tension comes up, I always think of am I edging God out?
Mm-hmm.
You want to wrap up? You want to say your last one?
No, I was just thinking we had a little tension on the car ride yesterday. Riddle was trying to.
God out.
No, he had told me something that I apparently forgot that he wanted me to do. Allegedly, I forgot. So in that moment, we started to get excited, and I just remember thinking, okay, I've done this before where I'm going to fight it out. We're going to battle it out. And that just caused a whole big mess. Or I have in 1 second just be like, all right, my bad. I'm sorry. You probably told me. Got it. Let's just move forward and let's continue. And that way it didn't ruin our day, or it didn't snowball into other fights. Well, I told you this too and you didn't do it. Or, I constantly have to remind you with this. So it's those, got to think quick and how can we resolve this quickly, acknowledge them, but also acknowledge your feelings and just move on.
Andy and Jane, thank you so much for letting us host the call. We hope we did a good job for you today, and hope everyone has a Merry Christmas next week. And
Feliz Navidad.
And don't forget about National Convention right around the corner. Make sure you have your ticket, your hotel, and everything arranged. We can't wait to see all you guys there. A lot of crazy stuff is planned for National Convention, and a lot of great training and everything. So make sure you get that. If you need any last minute gift ideas, National Convention tickets, a great gift idea. So, all right, guys.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.